The only way that we have to recommend would be to hand seal each and every shingle.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay, especially if you're getting a darker color.
We recommend hand sealing the shingles.
Does that affect the warranty at all if I do install it below 40 degrees?
No.
Okay. You've been extremely helpful.
Can you install asphalt shingles in wintertime? In this video, we will discuss it. I'm here at my house. My wife tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday, so I have to stay home for a week. Show must go on. If you ask average roofer this question, can you install shingles in the wintertime? Answer usually is yes or no. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. I asked my co-host Brent Simmons to call all manufacturers to get their recommendations. He asked them about minimum temperature requirements, if it's gonna avoid warranty, if temperature is cold, and what the temperature should be, and what are the requirements. I will be giving you some tips during the video. If you're the homeowner looking to get your roof done, you will find a lot of helpful information in this video. If you're the contractor, maybe trying to make a decision, should you even be installing shingles in the winter time? I will explain you why it's so hard and why it's not yes or no, and what manufacturer will not tell you. Thanks for coming. Before you listen to the response from all the manufacturers, I wanted to explain why it's such a big deal. I personally know a contractor who went out of business in North Dakota. He installed a really big property. It was some kind of management apartments. He installed it during the winter time, and unfortunately it literally put him out of business. So cold application shingles is that gray line. It's the line where manufacturer can say no, it's your fault, and roofers will try to blame manufacturer will try to blame roofers. On one side, manufacturers are giving you minimum requirements. They say it's 40 degrees, it's 45 degrees. They say that warranty will not be voided. Here's my story. In 2015, I was installing a job. I called my local rep, and just like you hear the conversations today, my local rep told me, Dimitri, you will be fine. For liability reasons, I cannot give you the temperature, and he didn't. I asked him if he would recommend me to do hand sealing, and he said, honestly, if I would do it, I probably wouldn't do it because it will cost about $2,000 to add hand sealing. It's time consuming. Long story short, we installed a job 48 degrees that day. So according to this, most manufacturers will pretty much qualify you for good temperature applications. Plus, we were installing on a sunny day, no snow, black shingles, 412 pitch. So shingles lay pretty flat. Long story short, it was one of the latest jobs in the season, and over the winter, not most of them, but most slopes have missing shingles. 8, 9 blow off, so we have to come back. It cost me $700-800, and you might think, well, it's not a big deal. What's for the contractor, $700-800? Well, when you do 2-3 roofs a day, even at the end of the season, you might have 10, 15, 20 jobs. If each and single one of them have $700-800 loss, I called the manufacturer back. We went on the roof. Shingles did not seal in the middle of the summer on the job. They took a shingle, shipped it back to their headquarters, and I got official reply that no problem with the shingle, it's installation fault. So for me, it's personal because I've been on the other side. I know how manufacturer can deny you. You need to understand that this stuff is how manufacturers can get away from paying claims. So if you're the homeowner, I will give you some tips what to do with some of these manufacturers and what to look for, what to listen later. Let's listen to more replies from manufacturers.
This is Carrie.
Hey, Carrie, I'm trying to get some information on cold weather installation for the heritage shingles. Are you the person that can help me out?
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, what are your guidelines? Because we're in the wintertime. I'm trying to figure out the best way to install your shingles. Like, if it's cold, what do y'all suggest?
We just say if it's below 40 that care should be taken to avoid damage to the edges and corners.
Okay.
We don't tell you that you can't install them under 40, but I will tell you if you're trying to install like hip and ridge shingles and bending them, then they need to be stored in a warm location if possible, prior to application so that they don't crack,
Yeah.
bending them over the ridges. And then we do recommend hand sealing the shingles if they're installed when it's cold and they're not going to have warm weather.
Okay. And my last question is, like, if I'm installing below 40, does that affect the manufacturer's warranty at all?
No, it does not.
Okay, gotcha.
The warranty would still be in place. Yep.
Awesome. That's good news then. All right. Well, that's it. I appreciate your time.
I want to take a minute and explain the importance of asphalt shingles proper installation. Each shingle has very, very important element to them. It's called sealant. Not many people know, but roofing shingles, roofing materials usually are not waterproofing materials. They're water shedding materials, which means when you install shingles, you just lay them over, and if wind would blow upside, like if you go on the roof and you pressure wash it from the lower section to the higher section, you probably can flood your roof. So usually rain goes from top and just sheds all water away. So what sealant does, it seals the shingle, so in case of high wind, your snow, your rain, side rain is not gonna drive under the roof and under the shingles, goes up and travel inside your house. So that's the idea. So that sealant is very, very important. What's happening in a cold temperature, when it's below freezing outside, that sealant cannot activate and your shingles are simply flopping. So now what's going to happen is when they're flopping, they can lift. You can actually lose them. If the wind is strong, it's going to pick it up and you're going to lose the shingles. Now you have a hole in your roof. That's why it's so important. That's why the temperature is so important, because it prevents that little sealant to activate. I want you to think about tape. If you take this tape and let's say you cut it, maybe you tried one time, but if for the tape, almost any tape to activate, it has to be immediately applied. If you take this tape outside in the cold, the same thing will happen to this that happens to the shingle. Like right now, it's already not working. The same goes to almost any tape, any adhesive with the oils, or this is my gym tape. If you leave it outside for too long, the particles, the wind, the fine dust will get on it. It will prevent it from activation later. If you keep it outside in open position for long period of time, even in a warm time later, it will never activate. This is exactly what's happening to asphalt shingles. So that's why temperature is so important. So technically on paper, they telling you that warranty is not void when you install it at 40 degrees, but we know it from experience, and I've seen it so many times. If you're a roofer, you've seen it in the roofing industry, I need your feedback. Please comment below if you've ever seen in your professional career manufacturer denying a claim because shingle was not installed in a warm but in a cold temperature, and manufacturer would say that it's installer's error.
GAF Technical Support Services, this is Erica.
Hey, Erica, I'm trying to find out what the installation guidelines are for colder temperature installations of your Timberline products. Can you help me out with that?
Yeah, we recommend 45 degrees and rising.
Okay. And I know in other parts of the country, if it's below 45, is there a way to install the shingles? Any recommendations there?
The only way that we have to recommend would be to hand seal each and every shingle.
Okay.
Which normally is not going to be done because it's labor intensive.
Yeah.
So if at all possible, we would recommend waiting until the temperatures are 45 degrees and higher.
Okay. And is there any implication on the warranty side if it's installed, below 45 degrees? Does that affect?
No, because that would be classified as an installation error, which isn't covered under the warranty that comes with the product.
Okay. But if it's hand sealed below 45, then I guess the warranty is valid, right?
The warranty is valid either way.
Okay.
The warranty doesn't cover installation errors. It only covers manufacturing defects.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, well, that's it. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
All right. If you need anything else, let us know.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Warranty services, Amanda speaking.
Hey, Amanda. I know this is the warranty department, but it's hard to find the number I need. I'm trying to get just some basic information on the cold weather installation guidelines.
Okay.
Could you help me with that?
Actually, I certainly can. We have a bulletin that covers those guidelines in detail. If you want to provide me your email address, I'll search that bulletin out and send it over to you.
Yeah, I will do that, but I'm just trying to get a quick answer. I'm driving right now, so could you kind of like tell me just real short like what your cold weather requirements are?
Okay. So let me pull up the bulletin. It's to verify that it's between 40 and 50 degrees as far as the temperature where the shingles would need to be stored at that point in like a garage or outside the weather so they can be flexible during installation.
Okay.
And then also because of the temperature, it would not be warm enough, especially if you're in a cold weather area, warm enough to thermally activate the sealant.
Yep.
You would need to do a manual hand seal. That's highly recommended. If you don't do it, the wind resistant and steel coverage for the shingle, it will not take place until the shingles had a chance to seal, and that's next spring into summer possibly.
Okay.
But at any rate, that's the gist of it.
Yeah.
If the shingles are not flexible, that means when you drive a nail through it, it is a fiberglass shingle. It's very possible to get hairline cracks. You won't even notice it. So to avoid that, you want to make sure that shingle can flex and take a nail without cracking.
Awesome. That's great. That's the information I needed. That's it. So you did say, if it's too cold and it didn't have a chance to seal, the wind warranty there is no warranty on that.
At that point, so there's no
Gotcha.
wind warranty until the shingle is under the condition where it can perform as it should, meaning the sealant is thermally activated and can take a firm seal. At that point, then they'll put the wind warranty in action. So let's say, for instance, you install the shingles right now in winter, you don't do the manual hand seal, blow off in a winter storm, you file a claim, they'll bring up the fact that it was installed in winter without the hand seal.
Gotcha.
However, if after the summer that comes up passed and you have a blow off and you file a claim, everything is in check, the installation and everything like that, no high winds being warranty, it falls within coverage because the shingles went through a summer of warm weather after it was installed at that point.
All right. You've been extremely helpful. You answered my questions. I don't even need the bulletin now. So
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We have a few more manufacturer responses, but I wanted to give you a few tips. If you're the homeowner and you have to get the roof done, I would highly recommend wait to the spring. The worst jobs that we usually see problems with are installed late in the season. Now, as a roofing contractor myself, I can tell you that we need jobs, we want to do what's right, and I've installed plenty of jobs in wintertime. But if I can advise you to wait, and you can wait, your roof probably not going to wait if it's in decent condition. If it's below freezing, you don't have rains, just because it's cold and snow, less likely it's gonna leak. I mean, if a roof is completely shot, I don't know the situation, or maybe you have to sell the house, it's one of the conditions, you can get it done. I would highly recommend hand sealing, but if you can wait, please wait. That's my number one tip to any homeowner. Don't take your risk. It's simply not worth it. It's investment for the next 20 years, and you can compromise it by rushing it, and you can wait a couple more months and get it done 100% right, where now you're just taking a chance with a cold install.
Thank you for calling Owens Corning. This is Ashley. How may I assist you?
Hey, Ashley, I'm trying to figure out kind of like what your cold weather guidelines are for your shingles, your architectural shingles. Are you the person I need to talk to?
Yes. So for our cold weather installation,
Yep.
Essentially our thermal ceiling strip needs at least 3 consecutive days of 40 degrees Fahrenheit or above. That means at night when it gets cooler.
Yeah.
And of course adequate sunlight. If it's going to be colder than that, we recommend hand sealing the shingles
Okay.
in place of the thermal sealing.
Okay, so hand sealing if it's below 40 for less than 3 days. Does that affect the warranty at all if I do install it below 40 degrees?
No.
Okay.
It'll just be that the warranty is for manufacturing defect, and if any issues arise because of, it being super cold or whatever temperature it is at that time, like say the shingles don't seal and they get damage to the decking or anything of that nature because of blow up or anything of that nature, then that wouldn't be covered because it's not a manufacturing defect.
Awesome. Good stuff. Well, I appreciate you answering my questions here. I know it's kind of random, but thank you.
We actually get that question a lot, so it's not random at all.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm just trying to learn. So, all right.
My second tip for the homeowners is if you can hand seal it, hand seal it if you can afford it. It's a big bill. Let's say you have $12,000-$14,000 job. It'll cost you probably $2,000. Your roofer will have to manually hand seal every shingle. But if it's 20 degrees outside, 30 degrees, even 40 degrees outside, if that would be my house, that would be my recommendation. That $2,000 might save you from blow-offs, might save your contractors dispute with the manufacturers. I mean, you can go that route. You can find who is liable, accountable for it. Even if your contractor is saying it's not a big deal, he's still taking the risk. He should know it. And if your contractor is giving you different information and saying, hey, it's 30 degrees outside, don't worry about it. I mean, you're hearing this conversations with the manufacturers. You know by now that it's a big deal. So if your contractors does not take integrity of your roof seriously, maybe you need to fire your contractor. If you need a contractor, I'll find you one through our directory channel. But overall, I would say this: if it's too cold outside and you have to get a roof done, please spend a little bit extra on hand sealing. You will not regret it.
For calling Malarkey Technical, this is Annie.
Hey, Annie. I've just got a pretty easy question. I'm trying to figure out kind of like the cold weather installation guidelines that you guys have on your architectural shingles. Can you help me out with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So I've got some, we don't know if we're going to do Vista or Highlander, but I'm assuming they probably have the same installation technique, but what do y'all recommend?
We have a technical bulletin I can email you to, and it just really goes over.
Could you, and that's great. I'll give you my email, but I'm trying to just kind of get a quick answer. Like it's because, I've heard it's like 40 degrees or 30. What is the temperature at which you guys kind of recommend a different handling of the shingle? Like, could you read that to me?
Well, 40 degrees.
40 degrees? Okay.
Yeah, 40 degrees. But there's also things to consider.
Yeah.
Is it raining? What type of, what's the environment you live in like? It's very common for contractors to install in cold weather. Where I'm living, it's about 35 and drizzly out.
Right.
And there's definitely people who still install right now. And with our shingles, if they've been stored properly, they're a modified asphalt, so they're really going to be able to still be flexible.
Okay.
They're not going to crack necessarily like an oxidized asphalt shingle would.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so like 40 degrees. So above 40, we should be fine. But if it's, because I'm in Memphis, so like we're getting some cold days, and then we'll get days where it's like 50, but then the next day it could be 32. So like.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
I got you.
Because, that's okay. Especially if you're getting a darker color, your roof's going to get much warmer than, than the ambient temperature outside if it's a darker color.
Yeah.
And our seal down is a modified asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
So once that gets just warms up a little bit, that's really going to activate the seal down, and your shingles will seal. So that's important so that, you don't get wind blow off. I know it can be, windy down there.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it can. Yeah, and
Yeah. Okay.
and then it can get like cold out of nowhere, and we have an ice storm. So like if it's, I mean, it just depends literally day to day. So is there any hand sealing if I have to install it when it's like super cold that y'all require?
No, we don't require hand sealing, and I have heard my boss mention numerous times that it's normal for shingles to take a few weeks during
Yeah.
the winter to seal down,
Gotcha.
and that unless you're seeing them completely blow off,
Yeah.
blow up, you really shouldn't be too concerned. And honestly, after this past year of weather, I have received some shocking phone calls from, in a good way, from homeowners who have had our products installed in, oh gosh, I don't remember what month it was now, but months ago when there was that large windstorm in Iowa, we had many calls from, I took many calls from homeowners who had our shingles installed, and it's the same seal down no matter what shingle you go with,
Yeah.
who said they did not have one wind blow off. I had some guy call me just to call and say, I've had your shingles installed for 18 years, and our county sheriff clocked 130 on his little mile per hour thing for the wind, and I didn't have one shingle blow off.
Wow.
And he sent me a picture of a package and everything. Just because he was like, my neighbors are like asking about my shingles.
Yeah.
They're redone. So, he was calling for information.
I gotcha.
I feel confident in saying that, right now in early January, I think it's in Tennessee, I think it's safe to still install.
Yeah.
And not have to hand seal or hand tie. Maybe in a few weeks, if you don't see that changing or something, maybe go back up there. But honestly, I don't think you'll have to. Not with our seal down.
Awesome. Okay, and final thing, if it is like, let's say I install when it's really cold, does that affect the warranty at all?
No.
I got you.
It doesn't.
Awesome.
No.
All right. Well, I really appreciate you helping me out with this. I just had a couple random questions, so you've been awesome to talk to.
My last tip for the homeowners today is ask your contractor for the manufacturer recommendations or instructions in writing. Very, very important. Even if your manufacturer is saying that warranty will not be voided. We've been doing this research all day today. I have 2 people on the task, and from 2 manufacturers, we could not even find any information. We don't know what will happen if the shingles fail, if the job will fail, if the shingles will not seal. It's kind of a big deal, don't you think? So if your contractor saying it's okay, maybe even your local manufacturer rep saying it's okay, if it's okay, put it in writing. Give me a piece of paper saying that, hey, today is 45 degrees, we're installing the shingles, and we have any problem with the sealant, you're going to be liable for it. If they put it in writing, do it. If they don't want to do it, there's something shady. And ask yourself why they cannot provide you anything in writing. And it can come from the contractor or manufacturer, but if you don't have a piece of paper that you can bring later in court or during the legal dispute, how are you going to defend yourself?
So I was unable to get a couple people on the phone, and I talked to my Atlas rep. So he sent me the technical bulletin. I'm just going to read it to you guys for the cold weather installation. Actually, I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to tell you what it is. They're just like everybody else, pretty much. If it's 40 degrees, well, they want it to be 40 degrees and rising. Below that is considered cold weather application, and they recommend hand sealing. Looks like hand sealing the shingles, and the warranty is not affected in any way if you have to install in cold weather. And then I found BP. This one's kind of interesting. It says right here in their technical bulletin, F, cold weather installation. I'm just going to read it to you. The self-sealing shingles come with sealant bands that must be exposed to temperatures sufficiently high to be activated. If weather conditions are too cold when shingles are installed, shingles should be cemented manually using dabs of asphalt plastic cement on each exposure as specified by the blah, blah, blah standard. So when it says if conditions are too cold, they don't even tell you what the temperature is. So I don't know what that means, but that is Atlas and BP. All right, so I had a hard time getting in touch with anybody at Papco who could actually answer the question. I did find some literature in their application instructions about hip and ridge, and all it said was 40 degrees and below. They must be stored in a warm area for 24 hours prior to installation. I did find something, an ICC document that says this: in colder climates, when it is questionable whether the sealant strip will activate and seal the tabs, the shingles must be hand sealed. And then it goes on to tell us how to actually hand seal them. It says nothing about the temperature, and it says nothing about the warranty. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it's probably 40 degrees since they've mentioned that before. Who knows? But that's the best I could get out of Pabco.
I would like to finish this video with a message to both homeowners and contractors. Contractors takes homeowner investment seriously. I see so many contractors who take this stuff lightly. A lot of contractors just need jobs. I see a lot of pride going on, like we work all year round. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal. It's a lot of money. We're talking about $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 jobs. And even if you need money, if you need a job, still have to do it right. You cannot cut corners. You cannot do what you think is right. You have to follow manufacturer instructions, and sometimes they're hard to follow. What we have here is the picture of it. We have few that are not listed. We have Malarkey, who said that hand sealed is not required. The only manufacturer, you've heard it talk. We see some manufacturers, they will tell you that it will void the warranty. And I'm glad that we are getting this different results from it. So if you're the homeowner, make sure you study the topic, make sure you read the paperwork, understand the temperature, what will happen if it fails. If you're the contractor, please explain it to the homeowner, educate yourself. Don't do it just because everybody else does it. Make sure you understand that the way you do it and install it is the best option for the homeowner. Homeowners, if you're looking for a good contractor in your area, someone you can trust, we can recommend something from you. Check out for you. Homeowners, if you're looking for contractor in your area, let me find someone for you. Go to directory.com. We have a list of trusted roofers, someone we back up and guarantee with our own money. If they mess up your job, we will back it up with up to $20,000. So if they don't follow manufacturer instructions, if they do everything wrong and you have to start over, we are your warranty. We will talk to manufacturer, we will talk to the contractor, we will see what happens. And no matter who messed up, we got you covered. That's a directory guarantee. We own the company. You will not find any listing online on the internet who recommends contractors better than we do, because we don't only guarantee them, we cover them, and we will make it right with you. That's our promise. Check it out. Comment below, guys, what you think about this topic. If you like this content, don't forget to give it a like. Helps YouTube algorithm, pushes us all the way to the top of the searches, helps more homeowners and more contractors. Let me know if you have any questions. I read all my comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.